Hello again, guys. Enlightenment 1414 back again with another reading. Now, if you've already watched the first video from my empresses, this is the second video from my emperors, okay? So, male, female, we do not do sex, we do energy, okay? Feminine, masculine, light, dark, yin, yang, everyone has it, okay? So I am hoping that even the feminines from the Empress pile have come over here to see what their other counterpart side looks like, okay? What their other masculine side looks like. My males are here. Hopefully you were on the other Empress channel and you looked up what your feminine side was so you can get a full picture of the whole person you are, okay? Because we're not just all masculine, we're not just all feminine energies. We are 50-50, or sometimes more or less, but we all have those qualities, and at any given time we can take on those roles, okay? If you're a single father, you could, you raising girls, raising sons, doesn't matter. You're taking on that feminine role of being the provider, being the mother and the father. You know what I mean? So, like I said, everyone has feminine, masculine roles that they play at any given time in their lives, okay? So, with that being said, guys, this reading is to see what your emperor says about you. Which emperor card says what about you? And I picked the extra cards from each one, from each individual pile. There's an extra card underneath to explain more about your personality and the type of person you are, okay? So for the first one, we have it set up just like the Empress's was. The first card we have here is the Emperor from our African American Tarot deck, okay? Now I'm going to show all these, but I would like for everyone to just go to the description box and pick your piles by the timestamps, not by the pictures, okay? This is pile 2 with my Erotic Tarot deck with the Emperor here. This is pile 3 with my Merlin Tarot with the Emperor here. Pile 4 with the Tarot Sutra with the Emperor here. Trying to get it away from the light there. With the Emperor here, pile 4. Pile 5 with my Tattoo Tarot deck with the Emperor here. And then we have pile 6 with my Uncommon Tarot with the Emperor. Okay? So, like I said, try to go to the description box where you can pause it and pick it by the piles, however you want to do it. I just say it usually fits better if you intuitively pick the pile by the timestamp. Don't look at the picture, look at the timestamp and just pick it by the timestamp, okay? I'm just saying, try it. If you don't, you're one of them people that just go, ooh, I like that, that's pretty, don't do that. Go to the timestamp and pick your cards, okay? Now, if you're not new to this tarot world and you're good at picking cards, then go ahead, pause the video, do what you need to do, okay? And I am going to go into the first deck. The first African American tarot deck with our Emperor here. Looking all regal, looking like he about to go out for battle with his sword. Got the elephant, got the lion down here. Let's see what we can see with this Emperor, guys. You know what? It's kind of dark in here, and it's getting a little dark outside. Let me pause this really quickly and turn on some more light. All right, there we go. That is a little bit better. Okay, so for my first Emperor here, you could be older in age. You might like to wear hats. A lot of hats. A lot of different type of hats, Cowboy hat, baseball hats, Scullies. You like to wear hats. You also might have a very, very good memory with this elephant down here. You could have a very good memory. You remember things from your past, you remember things people have told you, specific details. You're very you have a good memory. You have a really good memory. People, places, names, And with this lion down here, this lion looks really fierce, like it's nobody to be played with. So you could also come off as someone who, you're very, I would say, strict, or you have a lot of rules that you adhere to, that you kind of, it seems like you're very structured in the way that you do things. You might be even a little OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. You might like things to be in their place and for places to be where they should be. You know what I mean? This lion looks like you might like to give people evil stares if they say something stupid to you. Even this emperor here has a really serious stare on his face, like really serious. He's really serious. I'm sorry this isn't focusing, guys. But yeah, he has a really serious look on his face. Like his eyes are very like they're almost, you got that little crease in the middle of your eyes, that crease in the middle of your forehead, like you're squinting or like you're, looking real hard at somebody. Like this person may have like a, male or female, you may have like a resting bitch face, or you may just have a really intimidating look about you, when people stare at you. You might like knives. You might like swords. You might like to collect swords or knives. You know what I mean? You might be a knife collector. You might like to wear really nice wristwatches, that are unique, have a really nice type of band to them, like a unique band to the watch. And if you do wear jewelry, it's really thick jewelry. If you wear a necklace, it's a thick necklace with a big, like, adornment, like a chain on it, you know? You might ride motorcycles too. You also might, and I'm only getting that from this headdress on here. There's nothing else in here that says motorcycles, but you could be male or female. You could be someone that likes to ride motorcycles, but you might like to ride motorcycles. And you know how they have those helmets that have like I call them like the mop brooms or the brooms, like they have like the little mohawks or the weird looking hair that's coming out the top of the helmet or whatever. Like you might like to wear stuff like that. You see how that's on top of the head? Like you might like to buy stuff like that. Like you like to wear stuff that if you're gonna wear something, it sticks out. Like it sticks out. But it's only like one or two pieces. You're not like head to toe, gotta look crazy. You know what I mean? Just certain pieces. But you definitely have a really intense stare about you that people find. Even the elephant has a really intense stare. It almost seems like when you stare at people, you are observing them. You're like analyzing them. People feel as though you're really intimidating because they feel as though you can like see right through them. You might like to work out too. Even if you are older, you seem like you have a really nice structure. He has really nice muscles in his arms there. So you might like to stay fit. Okay, let's go on to the second card here. Queen of Wands for this Emperor. So, like I said, you got muscles. People find you to be very attractive. Okay? Like you have a stare that keeps people away, but people still see you. They still see you as being very attractive. You know what I mean? Like it's really intimidating. Like you don't have a lot of people that walk up to you and just try and talk to you. You know what I mean? Because of how intimidating looking you are. But even though you may not get a lot of people that walk up to you because they're intimidated, a lot of people still find you very attractive, very alluring, very, how you dress, how you walk, how you talk, how you represent yourself with what you wear, like people find it very intriguing and they find it really hard not to look at you. Like I can see that here with there's a snake and there's a cat. And both of them are like looking off and over in this direction. Like, and she's even looking over there. You know what I mean? Like people like to stare at you. People love like when you go by on your motorcycle and when you go, you're like a showy kind of person. You know what I mean? Like you like to show off a bit, with this Queen of Wands. You're very you look good. You dress to look good. You look good. You're about your business. You know what I mean? With this elephant and lion here, like you're very much about your business and about your looks and about how you come off to people. You know what I mean? Like you really don't care, which is why you have that resting bitch face. You know what I mean? Like you do not try to fit into a box that people try and put you in. Like you make the box. You know what I mean? You make the box and you set the box on fire. You know what I mean? It's that type of energy here with you. You might like animals too. Like you might like these type of exotic animals. Like this is like a boa constrictor. This is an elephant. This is a lion. Like you might like those type of animals that are exotic, that aren't normal type of pet animals, you know what I mean? Or you might just like to observe nature. You might like to, watch these type of predatory type of animals, you know what I mean? Maybe the nature channel, you like to observe. But you're very, you stand out. You definitely stand out in a crowd. People notice you. You're very noticeable. When people do get to engage with you, they can tell that your mind is very strong. You have a good memory. Even if you haven't talked to them in months, you remember the last conversation you were talking about with them, you know. But they know you're serious. They know that you're not someone to be played with. So that is all I have for my pile one emperors. Let's move on to our pile two with the erotic tarot. Here we go. And we have this emperor here with a whole little, some piggies down there. Okay. So with this emperor, this emperor looks very strict, very almost like overpowering, you know? Like the skulls on here are all rams. All ram head, bull heads, rams, so this person or you that picked this, you could be a very stubborn person. Okay? You could be very bullheaded, very, you're always ready to ram heads with someone if they try and oppose you. Um with these pigs down here. Pigs are actually very smart. You know, they know a lot, they remember a lot, um, but they can also get aggressive too. Especially as they get bigger. You know what I mean? Pigs also, they're very territorial. They like their space. They're very protective of their young, the little piglets here. So this person, or you, sorry, this emperor, male or female, you can be very stubborn. You can be very protective of your family. Um, You remember if someone tries to slight you. You remember if someone tries to hurt you. You know what I mean? You hold on to grudges. He also has all this metal on, like he's ready to go to battle, Like you're the type of person like you will you will fight. You will fight for whatever you think is right. Like you will, you'll throw all this down and take all that off and put your fists up, literally. Like you are the type of literal person that will, if someone disrespects you or disrespects your family, you will put your hands on them. And you have no qualms about that. Like you will hurt someone. Just like, this mother pig, if need be, her big butt will charge you. You know what I mean? Or with these rams on the seat, they will ram you. They will hit you. You know what I mean? This person is not opposed to, putting some pain on somebody if they, disrespect them or try and, hurt them, come towards them. I see these little mountains in the back. They're very little. So you don't have a lot. When you do have a challenge that comes into your life, you face it head on and just kind of steamroll it over. Like these mountains back here look like little molehills. Like things that trouble you in your life, you don't let them trouble you. You just steamroll right over them. Someone tries to put a blockage up, you push that blockage right on down. You know what I mean? You're not going to be blocked. You're not going to be put inside some little, fence area. Like these pigs, they're just running wild. They're not in no fenced area. You're not going to be fenced in. You're not going to be, caged in. See what the next card is here. Oh, you got the tower. Okay. Like I said, with this tower card, like I said, you see that? Big head up there and the family down there. Like this tower card represents like you go hard for your family. Like you will burn everything down if someone tries to hurt your family. Like you don't play. Like you come in like boss in charge. Like you know what I mean? Like you do not play about your family or your friends or people that you care about. You are very you fight for what you believe in. You fight if there's an injustice that someone tries to do to you or your family or friends, you are the first one right there to be like, no, that's not happening on my watch. You know what I mean? Or you're the first one to go and burn all that down. Like you don't play. You do not play with your emotions. You don't play with your people that you care about's emotions. Like you're very straightforward in your how you speak and your actions. And people can see that. Like people know, don't mess with you. Don't mess with this emperor because he will hurt you. Okay, physically, emotionally, mentally, however. Okay, mostly physically. Okay, this person will put their hands on you. Yep, they'll put their hands on you and then they will teach their child to put their hands on you. Because you see the kid, the boy with the sword, literally, he's like teaching his son when he's not around, protect your mom, protect the family. You know what I mean? He's about that. You're a protector. Male or female, you are a protector. Okay? You don't play about yours, about your family, about your, you know what I mean? You don't play. All right, guys, that's all I am seeing from my pile two here. But yeah, you're very protective, very straightforward. You don't play no games. And you will put your hands on people if they try and disrespect you. All right, that's what I have for my pile 2 Emperor. We are moving on to my pile 3 with my Merlin Tarot. And I would have to say, this is the only Emperor that is actually smiling. This is the only Emperor that is actually looking jolly, looking like they are at peace within their kingdom. They look like they are very balanced. And yeah, very balanced. If you can see there, if I can get this to focus, there is is that a lion? Lion? Is a lion. And there's a lamb over there. If I can get that to focus properly. But there's a lion and there's a lamb. And there's also a little mouse down here. So, with those two animals, that tells me this emperor is very balanced. Even how this emperor is sitting is looking very balanced. He looks comfortable. He looks at ease within his power, within himself. Okay? So you're a person that's very comfortable in your skin. You're pretty happy-go-lucky most of the time. And, you are able to balance your emotions with your more masculine and feminine sides. You're able to balance both of those very well in your emperor mode. But you're fierce, and like the side of you that is the protector, and the side of you that's more of the aggressor. You know what I mean? Like, you're very balanced in that. And with this mouse down here, you are a person that will go out and get what you need for your family. You know what I mean? You'll go and do what you need to do, however small or big that is, and however long that takes. You'll do whatever you need to do to bring that food back to your family. With this bird up here, you're also very wise. You are the type of emperor that you don't, have to be always right. You can take advice from other people and take it into account, and take it into account and let it and mull over it and figure if that's the right thing. Like, you're the type of person that will take someone else's opinion into account and think of like a level ground. You'll try and think of like an even ground to try and come to a compromise. You're very compromising. You're not trying to have a whole lot of enemies. If you need to cut people off, you will, but you try and come to more of a compromising type of way of being. How you rule with this emperor. This is the traits of this emperor. Like, you're very balanced. You don't try and rule over people. You're someone that tries to open up other people's potential to see that they can be leaders too. You're that type of person that would share the throne. You know what I mean? You were the type of person that would have other people as your counsel alongside of you. You don't have to be that top dog sitting on top when everybody else is underneath of you. You're that type of person. You work well with others. You also might like to wear really nice comfy shoes. Maybe not Uggs, but those what are those, Gators, the Crocs or whatever. You might like to walk around in Crocs or sandals or some type of really comfy shoes. Hmm. Trying to see what else I see, guys. But yeah, very balanced. Very balanced. You have a good balance of good and bad, You know how to even that out and not be a douchebag. All right, let's see what the second card says. Oh, Wheel of Fortune. Wow. All right. Well, like I said, you're very balanced. Um, with this Wheel of Fortune here, it seems like because you're so balanced that you get a lot of things that turn in your favor. You know, a lot of things come towards you because of your positive energy. A lot of things turn in your favor because of your positive energy. You know, you have a lot of positive people and, ventures that come to you because you're such a positive thinking person and because you try and include everyone, you know? And I know the Wheel of Fortune can turn from good to bad, but you know what I mean? Like, you take the good with the bad. You know what I mean? You don't look at the bad as though it's bad. You look at it like it's a lesson to learn. You know, that's how you look at it. You look at it like it's a lesson to learn. And with all these different animals here, like, you're a person that really tries to bring everyone together. You try and find an even ground so that even though all of these creatures are on different scales of the food chain or the different types of animals, you try and bring everyone together to try and find like a common ground, like to try and find a common, common ground, with each other, so that everyone can work together. You know, that's your power. Your power is to unite people. You're a very even tempered person, you know? You try and see the good in everyone, until you can't see it, when you gotta, hey, get out of here. You know what I mean? But even when you dismiss people in nice ways. You don't just cut people off. You'll sit someone down and be like, hey, I can't be friends with you no more because of this and this and this. And you let them know and you say, hey, but I wish you well. I don't wish no bad on you. I hope you find someone that can be your friend, but it ain't gonna be me. You're that type of person. You're very even in how you're very balanced in your emotions. Mm, 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 mm. You also you might love animals because there's a lot of little animals in here. Like, you're not the type of person that's like a hunter. You don't like to hunt. You know what I mean? If you go out in wildlife, then you like to just observe animals in their natural habitat. You know what I mean? You're not about to go out there with a rifle. The only thing you go out there with is like a binoculars, to see the animals closer. Like, if you do go fishing, it's like catch and release. But you definitely try and bring people together. You try to bring people together and have them work together for like a common goal. That's what this emperor is definitely representing here. You try and bring people together so that they can have a common ground or have a common goal and make the world better. You also might like to mountain climb. There's a lot of mountains in the back here. You might like to be someone who maybe you just like to go hiking, maybe not mountain climbing, maybe hiking, maybe you like to go on trails and that's where you go to observe the animals and stuff like that, when you're walking on the nature trails and stuff like that. Maybe you like to go up, maybe you live in an area where there's a lot of mountains and you can go up and see the clouds that are, like that, where you get up to those really high peaks and you can like see where the clouds are coming and meeting the tops of the mountains and stuff. Like, you might like to do that type of activity. All right, guys, that is all I am seeing for my pile 3. Let's move on to my pile 4 with my Tarot Sutra. Bam. Here we go with this Emperor. Look at that. He's glowing. All right, what do we see with this Emperor? This Emperor has the Rams again. All Rams. But I see that there are a lot bigger mountains in the back here with this emperor. So, oh, is that a dragon on there? Oh. Okay, so I would say with this emperor here, you might like to wear some nice flashy clothes, you know? You might like to drive a flashy car. You might like to wear shoes that are, if you're a man, you like to dress up and wear those shoes that are kind of the dress shoes that are a little pointy at the end. You know, those kind of pointy looking shoes. I don't really particularly like them, but they're not that bad looking, depending on what outfit, you wear them with. But, male or female, you like to wear shoes that might be a little pointy. Like if you wear high heels, they got the point on the front of them. If a man wears dress shoes, he got the point on the front, with the dress shoes or whatever. You like to make sure your hair is very neat and well kept. Like this emperor here's hair is like not out of place. Like it looks like it's like perfectly combed down and looking nice. It seems like you like to step out and make sure that you are clean and fresh and shining and looking like $1,000,000. That's what I'm getting from these, because the staff is glowing, the orb in his hands glowing, these ram heads are glowing, like the crown on his head is glowing. Like it seems to me with this emperor, with your traits, you like to wear things that make you stand out. You like to wear things that people look and be like, oh wow, what is that they have on? Like, oh wow. Like you might like to wear really expensive things. You know, diamonds, gold, things that, and you like to make sure they're really clean and they're shining off of the sunlight. When the sunlight hit them, it's like, bam. I mean? You like to make sure it's like, blinging, like you like to stay very well polished. You like to make sure your hair is done, your nails are done. You might like to go get your feet done, get your eyebrows done. You take very, you have very high standards with how you look and how you're represented when you walk out the house. You also might, when there's like a problem or if something happens, that causes a delay with things you want to do, you might get a little upset. You might have a tantrum or you might, have kind of like an outburst because it just wasn't going with what you had planned. You know what I mean? Like, say you're going on a date or you're going out somewhere and something happens and you can't get in or you can't go or the car, whatever. You get upset. You almost have like a mini meltdown because things just aren't going the way you planned them to go. And most of the time it's not even anything that's that big of a deal, you know what I mean, in the grand scheme of things, but it's just in that moment you have a conniption and you're just like, oh my god, why did this happen, you know what I mean? You're that type of person here, I mean, and it quickly goes away, but in that moment you're very upset that things just didn't work out the way you wanted them to work out. Like you got all dressed up to go out and then you can't even get in, you know what I mean? It's like, you get mad, and I can understand that. You also have a really good imagination, like, and that's why I believe you get so hurt, like, because your imagination's in the 5D, and then when you have to come back down to the 3D where things are real, you're like, oh my god, that's not the way I envisioned it at all. You know what I mean? Like you're that type of person where you make a whole vision inside your head about how something's going to be, and then when it doesn't turn out to be that way, you are like, okay, I'm pissed now. You know what I mean? You're like, why did this not happen the way I wanted it to happen? And it's not like you sulk for a really, really long time. Like you get over it pretty quickly, but it's still kind of off-putting to some people when you do this. It's very off-putting when you get upset in these little minor ways that really have nothing to do with anything. It's like, are you seriously upset because we couldn't park there? There's a parking space right over here. Like, why are you? What's you know what I mean? It's that type of little. You're like, but that parking space right there is close to the door. It's like that's 5 feet away. What the fuck? What are you? Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? It's that type of little things that you do that people see and they're like, okay, that's not necessary. You know, you know. What else? You also might have a tattoo. Like this isn't a tattoo. This is an emblem in the clothing, but you might have a tattoo on your shoulder, like of a dragon or maybe a snake or maybe something tribal. You might like tattoos. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Six of Pentacles. Okay. So, with the Six of Pentacles, you might you might look at yourself as being above people. A little arrogant, a little full of yourself. You know, you might not like to give equally. And I know this isn't the Six of Pentacles in reverse, but I really just look at you as being this person. Yeah, you're giving, but what are you giving? Like, you have all this money and you're just giving them little pieces of rice or pieces of beans or pieces of, you could be giving them a whole meal, but you're not. You know what I mean? So you're definitely a person that watches what you give to get. You're not going to give someone if they're not giving to you. You're not going to, you're not. You're the type of person like whatever you give to someone, they need to give you something back that's the same equivalent or else you're just going to throw them a couple pennies. Like you're not the type of person that's about to go above and beyond for anyone if they're not going to go above and beyond for you. You have really strong boundaries in that, and you have too high of an opinion of yourself to do that. You're like, I'm not about to put myself down there. You can't offer me nothing. I'm not about to come over there. You know what I mean? But here, you need something. You know what I mean? You're that type of person. Like you're not about to step off your throne if someone isn't coming correct. If they're not putting that rug down there for you to step off, you're like, you can go on somewhere. But yeah, once again, I said you definitely like to dress really nice. Like even with this Six of Pentacles, this guy is dressed way better than these little beggars down here. They're all in tatters, and he's in his robes with his boots and his little head garment and his gold little scale. You know what I mean? Like you like to make sure you look better than everyone else around you, or at least you try to. You know what I mean? Or you make sure you surround yourself with people that don't look as good as you. You know what I mean? I'm sorry if this sounds so shallow, but hey, if it is what it is, you know what I mean? Hey, not everyone can be Mr. and Mr. Perfect, whatever, whoever, you know what I mean? Don't feel ashamed if this is, you know what I mean? There's nothing bad about this. You just look out for you. You know what I mean? You're about you. You're not about to give anyone your money or your pentacles if they're not giving to you. You know what I mean? But this emperor does seem a little more superficial, and maybe you are, but you know what I mean? Whatever. Whatever. Don't let nobody hate because you want to be superficial. If you bought all this shit for yourself, be superficial, boo boo. You ain't got to give none of your money up. That ain't nobody's to get. You know what I mean? See this big house back here. You might live in a really big house. You might have money. You know what I mean? That's why you dress like this. You might like to, have the finer things in life. And you might give to charity, but it's little penance. You're not giving them your whole damn paycheck. You know what I mean? You're like, no, I'm gonna give you just enough, and then you can go get the education like I did. You know what I mean? And go work for it. That's what you are. Okay. Hold on, guys. I will be right back. You won't even miss me. All right, guys. So yeah, like You don't mind giving, but you want to get in return. And you might look down on people a little bit if they're a little poorer than you. You might kind of look at them with a little disdain in your mouth. Like you might, cringe when you see homeless people and stuff. But overall, like you like to dress really nice. You like to, you know, always be on point with your money, with your business, like I said, you might be a little OCD with cleanliness. Like you may not like to get dirty. You may not like to touch people per se, or to shake hands with people. Might be a bit of a germaphobe. Trying to see if I can intuitively pick up anything else for this pile, guys. Nope, no more messages coming through. All right. Now, on to pile 5 with my tattoo tarot deck. And this would have to be, I would say, the oldest looking emperor in here. Very stern looking, very about his business, very much an old warrior, you know what I mean? Whether maybe you have an old soul, you may not be old, if you are older, then, of course, this more applies. But, you may just have an old soul about you, you know? You might also be very intuitive. You might be able to see things before they happen, or you just know something's going to happen, with this crystal ball here, you know. You might like your hair really long and curly, male or female. You might have a really nice full beard and mustache, really thick eyebrows. You might even have bags under your eyes a bit, maybe you don't get a lot of sleep. Mm-mm-mm. But with this ram skull on the head here, you are a person that has had to have a lot of different battles in your life. You've gone through a lot of different struggles in your life and had to come out on top. You're almost like, the Nine of Wands, like the wounded warrior. You know what I mean? But you're still going. You're still, keeping it moving, Like it seems like you've been through a lot of ups and downs in your life, but you still manage to keep yourself, on an even playing field, and not let yourself go, into the darkness, of all the things that you've been through. And maybe because of your intuition, using your intuition and maybe learning from whatever lessons that you've had to go through to become this mature person, because this emperor looks very wise. He looks like he's been through a lot of battles and lost friends, lost family, but at the end of the day, it's like he's still ruling his kingdom. He's still there and coming every day to do what he needs to do. You know what I mean? So you might work a lot. You might be in your older age and you haven't retired, or maybe you're not able to retire, and you're just working on through. Just keep on working, because that that if you just keep at it, you will get to where you want to go. No matter how long that's going to take. You seem like a very like a person that you just keep going despite it all. Despite any obstacles, despite any you know problems that may arise. It seems like you deal with them and you keep moving. And even with this, like I said, with this ram skull, like, maybe when you were younger, you used to like to get into a lot of fights or be very rowdy, but you've learned to tame that. You've learned how to not be that way. You've learned to keep your thoughts and things to yourself when people don't agree. Like you almost intuitively know when someone's not going to agree with what's going to come out of your mouth. So you just keep it to yourself. You know what I mean? Unless they make you say it, or they want you to say it. It's like, okay, well, this is what I think and this is what it is. You know what I mean? You're very straightforward, but you're not the type of person that's going to overpower anyone. You're not trying to steamroll over anyone. You have pretty much come into your older age, or you're just an older soul that knows that brute force isn't the way to get what you want. You know, that you need to compromise. That you need to feel people out and see if they can be trusted, which is where this intuition comes in. You are very much a person that now looks at people below the surface. You observe people on a spiritual level, not just on a physical level. Like in your older age or your older soul age, like you have definitely learned how to observe people and make the right decision about those people, and know if whether or not you want to, engage with them or not engage with them. Yeah, this emperor is very well balanced. You know, they might keep a lot in, they might hold a lot in, because, you've been hurt. You've had a lot of pain from your past, but you've learned how to make it into a power, make it into something, that makes you be in this emperor mode, you know? If you've been hurt in your past by love or family, like you've really made it your purpose to not have to feel that way, or to learn from those situations, empathically, so that not to put yourself back in those situations. This one's definitely like you've been through a lot with this emperor. This emperor's been through a lot, but you're still in your power, but you're very even killed with you're very um evenly balanced. This emperor is very evenly balanced with their dark and light side. It'd be really interesting to see who got this card and who got the emperor, what emperor, empress card got with this one. That's what I mean. Like, make sure you watch the empress one too, the empress and the emperor, because these are both parts of you. You know what I mean, of everyone. So watch both, because it'll give you a good interpretation of both sides of your personality. All right, let's go to the next card. Oh, wow. Ace of Cups in reverse. So, like I said, wow. This person or this emperor, male or female, you've had a lot of heartache. You've had a lot of pain in your past. You've had a lot of people that you've had to see them for who they were and let them go. You know? Like, you've had to use your intuition. You've had to come to a realization that a lot of people weren't, they don't have your best interests at heart, and you've had to let them go, and you are totally okay with that, because you know that these people were not here for your higher good. That is why you're in this emperor mode. This emperor has been through high and hell, high and low hell. It's like you've been through a lot and you've learned how to balance that out and make it into a positive. You've learned to not become bitter about all these people that hurt you, and you've learned to just kind of go within and release it or make it into something positive. You've learned how to turn these negative emotions into something positive for yourself. You're also someone who could be very guarded with your heart, because of all these betrayals and people, showing fake love or, being dishonest to you. You've had to guard yourself, and that's why you've become this, this kind of person that's like, I'm not bitter, but I'm not about to take no shit either. You know what I mean? It's that type of deal. You're not bitter, because you've learned your lessons for the reasons why these people were acting this way. Like, you've totally learned that it's not your fault for the reason why they couldn't show you love. It's their fault. It's their downfall, their shortcomings for the reason why they couldn't show you the proper love. And you have come to that realization, and it's made you a stronger and more balanced person in figuring out who's for you and who's not for you. It's weird because you see how the emperor is like all this light up there and then it's all this dark down below. It's like you're very balanced in knowing what's right for you and what's wrong for you. You know what I mean? You know who's supposed to be around you, who's not supposed to be around you. That's what comes with old age. That's what it comes with being an old soul. You learn really quickly who's for you, who's not for you. Okay? And even if you're young, like, you learned this, your old soul knows who you should be around and who you shouldn't be around. You've learned very well who to block off from your life and how to not be bitter about it when you block them off. You're not like some bitter person that's going to be, calling and texting and sending them evil eye and, hating on them. No, you wish them well and you tell them to go on, and you go about your life and keep it moving. You don't try and put no hate towards anyone. You just dismiss them. You like, oh, you're not going to love me correctly? Well, bye. You know? You also may have been divorced in this pile. You may have had a divorce, or maybe you're going through a divorce. Maybe that's what this Ace of Cups in reverse is. But even if that's happening at this time, you're feeling as though it's the right thing. Like, you're feeling like this is what needs to happen. This is, you know what I mean? Like, you're one of those people that to get back into balance, everything needs to be out in the open, you know? All right, guys, that is all I am seeing from my pile 5, Emperor. Let's move on to my pile 6. And this is my uncommon tarot deck. And here is the Emperor here. Okay? Let's see what we got. What are we seeing with this Emperor? Just with this smirk on this Emperor's face, it looks like this Emperor could be a smartass. Like, you might be a smartass. You might like to crack a lot of jokes, little hidden innuendo jokes. Maybe you have a little bit of a dark humor, you know? You might like to travel. See this map in the background. You might like to travel. You might live far away. Well, depending on who's watching this, I guess anyone could live far away. But you know what I mean. You also might like to tell stories like of things that have happened to you. You know, um, things you've been through in your childhood. Like you might be able to communicate, like really crazy tales that have happened to you in your childhood or your past. And you know how to weave them so well to keep people fascinated and to keep people like right there listening to you. You know what I mean? You might like to wear your hair short. You might like to keep it buzzed, female or male. You might like to keep your hair short and buzzed. You might like to wear more like beaded necklaces or like crystals, things of that nature. I'm seeing some little cherry blossoms in here. You also might like cherry blossom trees. They are pretty. Hold on, guys. All right, needed to sneeze. Didn't want that to be on camera. Okay, let me see. You might like cherry blossoms, the trees. They are really pretty. You might be a bit religious. I'm seeing this emblem in the back here. This coin kind of looks like a religious coin, or you might be a bit religious or spiritual. You might like to go out in nature and meditate. I see these trees down here, this bright light over here, like it's like almost like illuminating. Like you like to go out into nature to kind of find yourself or to kind of get more in touch with yourself. You might be that type of person who likes to go out in nature and just kind of, when you're feeling overwhelmed, you might like to go out in nature and get your mind back, equilibrium back. I don't know why I'm getting fishing. You might like to fish. Go on, baby. You might like to fish or definitely go out in nature to where there's water. You'd like to go out in nature where there's water if you're going to meditate. It has to be somewhere where there's water close by. Or maybe you like to get in the water. There's something really spiritual about this one, this coin in the back here. You might be like a spiritual guru. You might like to give spiritual motivation talks to people. He looks like he's sitting here about to lecture somebody. Or at least drop some knowledge. He about to give some knowledge out. You also might speak a few different languages, at least one or two other languages besides your native tongue. But very wise. You seem to be very wise. Like you know what you're talking about. Like when you talk, You talk about scenarios that have to do with, like if someone was talking about their life and how they grew up and how it was bad, you will go off on a tangent and start, pretty much kind of teaching them a lesson through a story, of you growing up, or, it's almost like you're like a teacher. You like to teach people, you like to show people how the world is, through other people's eyes. I don't know why I'm getting like a martial artist kind of vibe here with this, or like a monk kind of vibe here with this guy, but you might like martial arts. Maybe you're versed in martial arts, maybe like mixed martial arts. Maybe you like watching movies, Bruce Lee, hey, what's up? Um, you know, hmm, let me see. All right, let's go on to the next chord. Two of Swords. Okay, so this Emperor, you can be a little indecisive about what you want to do, you know, or maybe like I was saying with that, when you try and teach people lessons through storytelling, it may seem to people like they don't understand you, like you might speak in riddles, you might speak in, what are those? What are those called? Well, let's just stay with riddles. Y'all know what riddles are. I'm not going to try and think of a bigger word. But what I mean, you might speak in like riddles, or you double speak, like when you talk you have like a double meaning to what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like you're always trying to, spread knowledge to people, but a lot of people don't really understand it, maybe because it's so opaque, or maybe it's so abstract, that, you know what I mean, about how you lay things out there, about how you lay out how, like how your story goes. It's so, like, people really have to read between the lines to figure out the actual meaning that you're trying to give off. And you do that because you're trying to have people have their own interpretations of what you're saying. Because what you're saying is it's very broad what you're saying. And the reason why you're saying it the way you're saying it is because you're trying to give people an motivation to open up their mind so that they can think for themselves, so that they can, almost come to a conclusion themselves. So you almost purposely, you know uh, mix people up with your words so that they will sit there and really think, you know like you're very dual, you know what I mean? Like you're the type of person, like you're the type of emperor, if someone was to come to you with a problem, you would give them the answer in your own way, and then you'd send them away to go figure it out. You to sift through what you just said and to figure it out in their own way. Now if they happen to come up with some other strategic way that you weren't thinking of, you're like, wow, okay, great, I'm glad you got that out of that. I wasn't thinking you were going to do that, but hey, I'm happy you did that. You know what I mean? That's good. That's what I'm talking about. Think outside the box. You're that type of person that tries to give that type of knowledge to people, to open up their third eye, so they can think for themselves. Like people will come to you with problems and they're expecting you to just give them the answer, and you're like, no, I'm going to give you a riddle. And if you can figure that riddle out, you'll get your answer. You're that type of person. You're very strategic in how you word things, and you like for people to figure it out themselves. They come in blind, but you're like, you'll figure it out. Oh, you'll figure it out. Yeah, there's a lot of hidden communication style that you have. You have a very hidden communication style. You like to talk in riddles. You like to talk with parabens, or you like to talk in what are those little stupid little rhymes that don't rhyme? Those stupid little rhymes that don't rhyme. I don't even, what are they, limericks? Limericks? Jesus, those are just dumbest rhymes ever. But you like to talk in that type of way. Not that I'm saying you're dumb, but you like to talk in that type of way to whereas people really have to figure it out what you're saying, read between the lines what you're saying, but you're very people do come to you for guidance. You're very knowledgeable about the subjects that people come to you about. And they might be upset at first when they come to you with this, but in the end, when they figure it out for themselves, they're very happy with the knowledge that you gave them and that they were able to figure it out on their own. All right, guys, that is all I have from my last emperor. And I would just like to say thank you very much for all my new subscribers, all the people coming and commenting. I'm loving it. Okay, I'm loving it. So please, I'm hoping you love this reading. Please go to the Empress reading, like I said, and look up that, whether male or female. Please go to the Empress reading. We all have feminine and masculine, and it's always good to know what both sides of us say. Because when you get a full picture, you'll be like, darn, that is me. Shit. You know what I mean? And don't just pick the same Emperor or Empress card from each deck. Like I said from the first pile, please intuitively pick these through the timestamps. Go to the timestamps. Do not pick these through the cards, okay? But all right, guys, please don't get scammed out there. I'm not doing any paid for readings at this time. So if anyone's trying to contact you acting like they're me, don't believe them. Please don't get scammed, okay? I would love for everyone to have a beautiful night, and I will see you on my next video. All right? Peace, guys.